The wrench slipped from my oil-slicked fingers and clattered against the concrete floor of the garage, echoing like a gunshot in the sudden silence. I can't do this anymore. Alex, pretend like nothing's changed. Jamie's voice cracked over the phone earlier that day, his words slicing through me sharper than any betrayal I'd imagined. But it was Samuel, his uncle, broad-shouldered and silver-flecked at the temples, who stepped out from the shadows, his eyes locking onto mine with a hunger that turned my world upside down in an instant. I never thought fixing a busted alternator would unravel my life like a cheap sweater caught in a doorjamb. Jamie and I had been thick as thieves since freshman year at community college in this godforsaken corner of Ohio. Flat fields stretching out like God's half-assed sketch, cornstalks whispering secrets to the wind. He was the wild one, always dragging me into his schemes. Bonfires that got too close to the neighbor's barn, midnight drives to Cleveland for dive bar blues and cheap whiskey. Me, Alex Rivera, the reliable sidekick with calloused hands from my dad's auto shop and a heart too soft for my own good. Gay in a town where faggot was still playground slang, but I'd learned to bury it deep, under layers of flannel and forced grins. That afternoon in late summer, the air thick with humidity and the buzz of cicadas, Jamie called me panicked. "Dude, my truck's dead in the driveway. Battery lights flashing like a strip club sign. You're my only hope. Man, Mom's gonna kill me if I miss her birthday dinner." His laugh was forced, edged with something brittle I couldn't place. I grabbed my toolbox, hopped in my beat-up Ford pickup, and headed over to his family's sprawling ranch-style house on the edge of Millersburg, where the Amish buggies still clip-clopped past strip malls selling knockoff Levi's. Pulling up, I spotted the old Chevy Silverado slumped against the curb, hood propped open like it was gasping for air. Jamie's place was the picture of Midwest normalcy. American flag limp on the porch, a rusted swing set in the yard from when he was a kid. But as I killed the engine and stepped out, toolbox thumping against my thigh, I felt eyes on me. Not Jamie's. Deeper, heavier. Samuel Hayes emerged from the garage like a ghost from a John Mellencamp song. Tall, weathered in that rugged way that screams, divorced dad with a Harley in the barn. Jamie's uncle, fresh off a stint in the oil fields of North Dakota, back home after Aunt Linda kicked him out for the third time. Mid-40s, maybe, with laugh lines etched like fault lines around his blue eyes and a jaw that could cut glass. He'd always been the family legend, the black sheep who joined the Marines young, came back quieter, then vanished into roughneck jobs that paid in scars and silence. I'd seen him at barbecues, nursing a beer in the corner, his gaze lingering a beat too long on the younger guys tossing frisbees. But I'd chalked it up to my own wishful thinking. "Alex," he drawled, voice like gravel under tires, wiping his hands on a rag that hung from his belt loop. "Jamie said you'd save the day. Come on in, it's hotter than Satan's sauna out here." I followed him into the garage, the scent of motor oil and fresh-cut lumber hitting me like a memory. Tools hung neat on pegboards, a half-built birdhouse on the workbench. Jamie was nowhere in sight. "Where's the birthday boy?" I asked, popping the hood wider and diving in, my flashlight beam dancing over the engine bay. Samuel leaned against the wall, arms crossed over a faded Metallica tee that clung to his chest just right. "Out back, throwing a football with the dog. Kid's avoiding me. Thinks I'm cramping his style since I moved in." He chuckled low, but there was no humor in it. "Family, huh? Always a powder keg." I grunted, focusing on the serpentine belt, but his presence pulled at me like a loose wire. Close. He smelled of soap and sweat, the kind that lingers after a long day's labor. My pulse kicked up, unbidden, and I cursed myself. Get a grip, Rivera. He's straight as an I-beam, and twice your age. But when our eyes met as I straightened up for a socket wrench, something flickered in his recognition, or was it the heat playing tricks? We worked in companionable silence for a bit, him handing me tools without being asked, his fingers brushing mine once, twice, electric as a spark plug. You got steady hands, he said finally, voice dropping an octave. Ever think about more than engines? Building something real? I laughed it off, wiping sweat from my brow. Nah, I'm a grease monkey through and through. Keeps the wolves from the door. But inside, my chest tightened. Jamie had hinted at troubles. His folks splitting after years of Dad's bar tabs. Mom leaning on Samuel for support. And now here we were. 3 men orbiting the same fractured home like planets gone rogue. By the time the alternator was humming sweet, the sun dipped low, painting the garage in bloody oranges. Jamie burst in then, all grins and backslaps. You're a wizard, bro. Owe you a 6-pack, hell, a case. He was buzzed already, eyes glassy, but he clapped Samuel on the shoulder like nothing. Uncle Sam, you sticking around for dinner? Mom's making ribs. Samuel's jaw ticked. Wouldn't miss it. But as Jamie bounded inside to shower, he turned to me, close enough I could see the stubble shadowing his skin. Stay, he said, not a question. For the ribs. For company. I should have said no. Packed up and peeled out, back to my empty apartment with its stack of unread novels and the ghost of last week's grinder regret. But his eyes held mine, stormy as Lake Erie in a squall, and I nodded. Yeah. Sure. Dinner was a minefield of small talk and forced laughter. Jamie's mom, Karen, fluttered around with her apron and wine glass, regaling us with tales of the church bake sale. Jamie shoveled food like it was his last meal, cracking jokes that landed flat. Samuel sat across from me, foot nudging mine under the table once. Accidental? My fork froze midair, heart slamming like a V8. Later, as the sky bruised purple, Jamie dragged me to the porch swing for smokes. Man, thanks again. Trucks purring like a kitten. He exhaled smoke toward the stars, then went quiet. Hey, you ever feel like you're just faking it? Like life's the script, and you're reading lines that ain't yours? I stared at him, the question hanging heavy. Jamie, straight arrow Jamie, with his ex-girlfriends and bro-code bravado, looked smaller suddenly, cracked open. What are you talking about, man? He shrugged, flicking ash. Nothing. Forget it. Just don't let Uncle Sam get in your head. Guy's got demons. Came back from the drill sites all twisted up. Mom says he's seeing someone, a therapist in Akron, but who knows? He stood, clapping my shoulder. Stay the night? Couch is yours. Safer than driving buzzed. I crashed on the lumpy sofa in the den, the house creaking like an old ship. Sleep wouldn't come. The wine buzzed in my veins, and every shadow twisted into Samuel's silhouette. Around 2 a.m., thirst dragged me to the kitchen for water. The fridge hummed soft, casting a blue glow over the linoleum. That's when I heard it. A low murmur from the garage, door ajar like an invitation. I shouldn't have gone. God help me, I shouldn't have. But curiosity or something darker pulled me through the side door. Moonlight slanted in, silvering the workbench where Samuel sat, shirtless, a half-empty bottle of Jack at his elbow. Tattoos snaked over his shoulders, an eagle clutching arrows, faded script reading Semper Fi. He looked up, not startled, just waiting. Can't sleep. His voice was rough, inviting. I leaned in the doorway, arms crossed to hide the tremor. Something like that. He patted the stool beside him, pouring a splash into a mason jar and sliding it over. Sit. Talk. Or don't. World's heavy enough without silence. We drank, the burn loosening tongues. He spoke of the oil rigs, endless nights under stars that felt too close, men breaking in the dark. You learn things out there, he said, eyes distant. About yourself. About what you bury. His hand found my knee then, thumb tracing a slow circle. Heat bloomed under my skin, traitorous and alive. Samuel. Call me Sam. He leaned in, breath whiskey warm against my ear. And Alex. I've been watching you. All evening. Longer, if I'm honest. The kiss hit like a thunderclap, his lips firm, tasting of sin and salvation. I froze, then melted, hands fisting his hair as the world narrowed to this, him, me, the garage's metallic tang. It was messy, desperate, years of denial crashing down. His stubble scraped my jaw, fingers digging into my hips like anchors. When we broke apart, gasping, his forehead pressed to mine. This ain't a game, kid. But hell if it don't feel right. I fled to the couch before dawn, heart pounding, the taste of him lingering like a brand. Jamie stirred as I tiptoed past his room, oblivious. But as the first light crept in, guilt coiled in my gut. What had I done? Crossed a line in my best friend's house, with his broken uncle. And worse, what if I wanted more? The next week blurred into a fever dream of normalcy laced with secrets. Back at the shop, Dad barking orders over the hiss of welders. Rivera, that carburetor ain't gonna fix itself. I buried myself in engines. Grease my armor against the what-ifs. Jamie texted nonstop. Memes, invites to the lake, oblivious as a puppy. Dude, truck's gold. You're the man. No hint he'd heard the creak of floorboards or caught the flush on my neck at breakfast. But Samuel? He haunted me like a half-heard radio station. Static and pull. A missed call from an unknown number. His burner. He later confessed. Then, a package at the shop. A worn leather jacket, monogrammed AR, inside the collar, with a note scrawled on receipt paper. Wear it. Think of me. I shrugged it on during lunch, the scent of him clinging to the hide, and nearly drove off the road imagining his hands sliding it off. We met that Friday after my shift, at a dive-off Route 30 called the Rusty Nail, neon core sign flickering over cracked vinyl booths, jukebox crooning Springsteen. I nursed a bud, nerves jangling, when he walked in, jeans faded to white at the seams, flannel unbuttoned over a thermal that hugged his frame. Heads turned, small-town radar pinging on the stranger vibe, but he ignored them, sliding into the booth with a grin that lit something feral in me. Missed you, he said simply, hand covering mine under the table. No bullshit, just truth. We talked for hours about my mom's recipes from her Puerto Rican roots, the tamales she'd shipped from Chicago, his tours in the sandbox, sand in his soul he couldn't shake. Laughter came easy, then quiet, his thumb stroking my knuckles like a promise. "You scare me," I admitted, voice low over the clink of glasses. "This us. Jamie's my brother, man. And you're complicated." He squeezed my hand. "Yeah. But real. Haven't felt this since. Ever. Maybe." His eyes darkened. "Lost my way after the core. Married Linda thinking it'd fix me. Straighten me out, literal and otherwise. Lasted till she found my stash of magazines under the mattress. Not Playboy. Alex." The confession hung there, raw as an exposed wire. I leaned in, kissing him soft in the booth's shadow, tasting vulnerability. The bar faded. It was just us, two drifters docking in the storm. We ended up at his motel room on the edge of town. A Super 8 with thin walls and a bed that sagged like defeat. Clothes shed in a tangle. His body mapped with scars. Shrapnel pocks on his ribs. A knife fight souvenir low on his hip. I traced them with lips and fingers, worshipping the map of his survival. He was gentle at first, reverent, murmuring my name like prayer. Then urgent, body slick and urgent, the world reduced to gasps and the creak of springs. After, tangled in sheets that smelled of bleach and us, he held me close. "Don't run, Alex. Not from this." I didn't, not yet. The affair bloomed like milkweed in the fields. Stolen hours in his truck at Makeout Point overlooking the quarry. Hands exploring under star-pricked skies. Lazy Sundays at my place. Cooking eggs while he played old vinyl. Johnny Cash's gravelly ache mirroring our own. He opened up about the therapy. Unpacking the closet he'd hammered shut since high school, when a buddy's drunken fumble ended in fists and shame. "Thought I was broken," he said one night, head on my chest. "Turns out, I was just waiting, and me, I fell hard. The kind of love that rewires your circuits." Samuel made me feel seen, not the token gay kid, but a man worth fighting for. We'd drive to Akron for his sessions, then hit a quiet diner, sharing pie and plans. Someday, he'd say, "We'll get out of this burg. Cabin in the Smokies, or hell, California coast. Just you and me," but cracks spiderwebbed under the surface. Jamie started pulling away, texts shorter, excuses piling up. "Busy with work, bro." Then, at our weekly poker night with the guys, he showed up hollow-eyed, slamming cards down. "What's with you, Alex?" Distracted as shit. "Got a girl finally." I forced a laugh, folding on a straight. "Nah, just buried in repairs." But his gaze lingered, suspicious. Samuel noticed too. "He's sensing something," he warned one evening, as we lay in my bed, rain pattering the window like accusations. "Kid's sharper than he lets on. He's family," I shot back, sharper than intended. "We'll handle it." But handling it meant lies, and lies fermented into something toxic. 2 weeks in, Jamie cornered me at the shop after hours. Dad had gone home, leaving the bays echoing empty. He burst through the office door, reeking of cheap bourbon. "Spill it, Alex. You're fucking around with someone, don't deny it." "Truck smells like cologne that ain't yours." My stomach dropped. "Jamie, chill. Is it that chick from the bar? Or wait?" His eyes narrowed, piecing it together with drunkard's intuition. "Holy shit. Uncle Sam. You're banging my uncle." The denial died on my tongue. He laughed, bitter and broken. "Of course. The one guy I look up to. The one who's supposed to fix shit after Dad bailed. And you, my best friend, stabbed me in the back. It's not like that, I pleaded, reaching for him. We didn't plan. Save it. He shoved past, shoulder clipping mine hard. Get out of my life, both of you, before you destroy what's left. He stormed out, truck roaring into the night. I sank to the stool, head in hands, the betrayal twisting like a knife. Not mine, his, but guilt gnawed anyway. I traded brotherhood for this fragile bliss, and now the house of cards teetered. Samuel found me there an hour later, headlights sweeping the lot. He pulled me into a hug that smelled of home, but his voice cracked. He'll come around. Blood's thicker. Is it? I whispered, tears hot. Or just another lie we tell ourselves? That night, we made love like it was absolution. Slow, ticking, bodies pleading what words couldn't. But dawn brought no miracles. Jamie ghosted us both. No calls, no shows at family dinner. Karen cornered Samuel at the grocery, her voice shrill over the produce aisle. What did you do to my boy? He's locked in his room. Won't even eat. Samuel came to me shattered, fists clenched. This is on me. I should have known better, dragging you into my mess. No, I said fiercely, cupping his face. We're in it together. Or not at all, but together felt like a noose tightening. Whispers rippled through town. Hayes boy feuding with his uncle. The grease monkey caught in the middle. At the shop, customers side-eyed me. Dad pulled me aside, gruff concern in his eyes. Trouble at home. Mijo, you look like hell warmed over. Just life, I muttered, diving back into a transmission that mocked my own jammed gears. The breaking point came mid-October, leaves turning fire red like warnings ignored. Samuel's ex, Linda, rolled into town unannounced, blonde hair teased high, lips painted stop sign red. She cornered him at the diner, scene witnessed by half the breakfast crowd. You think you can just waltz back, play house with that boy? She hissed, loud enough for echoes. He denied nothing, standing tall. It's over, Lynn. For good, she laughed, venomous. Over? Honey, you're just confused. Always were. But if you throw away family for some twink fantasy, enough. His roar silenced the room. But the damage spread like oil in water. By evening, Jamie had heard, fueled by her poison. He showed at Samuel's garage, fists flying. I arrived to chaos. Jamie swinging wild, Samuel blocking blows with forearms bruised from the fight. You predator, Jamie screamed. Grooming my friend, ruining us. Samuel took a hook to the jaw, spitting blood but not hitting back. Jamie, stop, listen. I waded in, grabbing Jamie's arm. Enough. Man, this ain't you. He whirled on me, eyes wild. You chose him. Over me. Over everything. The punch landed square, his ring splitting my lip. Pain bloomed, metallic. Samuel surged forward then, pulling Jamie into a bear hug, unresisting. I love him, kid. And I love you. This family's fractured, but we can mend it. If you let us. Jamie sagged, sobs racking him. Why'd you have to? Make it hurt so bad. We stood there, the three of us, under the garage's harsh fluorescence, a tableau of blood and brotherhood, love's messy collateral. As sirens wailed distant, a neighbor's call, I realized this was the climax, the raw nerve exposed. Betrayal's blade cut deep, but maybe, just maybe, forgiveness was the suture. Winter clamped down on Millersburg like a vice, snow blanketing the fields in hush-white forgiveness. But inside, the chill lingered. Jamie moved out the next week, crashed with a cousin in Columbus, job at the mill on indefinite leave. Karen blamed everyone. Me for tempting, Samuel for leading, God for the cruel joke. My boy's heart is broken. She wept over coffee at my place. Uninvited. You too. It's unnatural. Fix it, or stay away. Samuel retreated into work. Back to the rigs. He said, a contract in Pennsylvania calling. Need space to think. He told me over burner phone, voice echoing hollow. Not from you, from this mess I made. Our nights together became frantic video calls. Him in a motel with flannel sheets, me in my kitchen with takeout cold. Miss your hands, he'd murmur, screen blurring with need. But distance bred doubt, whispers of what if slithering in. I threw myself into the shop, Dad's puzzled glances my only company. You and that Hayes fella serious? He asked one night, handing me a beer after close. Pop was old school, rosary beads in his glove box, but he'd hugged me tight the day I came out at 16, muttering mi hijo, siempre. Yeah, Pop. Real as it gets. He nodded, clinking bottles. Then fight for it. Life's too short for half measures. His words anchored me, a lifeline in the drift. Thanksgiving loomed, a minefield of tradition. Karen's invite came via text, stiff. Obligatory, dinner at 4. Jamie's coming. Behave. Samuel begged off. Rigs don't close for turkey, but I saw the hurt. I went alone, the Hayes table groaning with fixings. Cranberry relish sharp as regret, pie crust flaking like resolve. Jamie sat across, thinner, shadows under his eyes. We avoided eyes, passing rolls like grenades. But midway through grace, Karen's voice trembling over family bonds, he cracked. Pass the gravy, Alex. And sorry. For the punch. For everything. I met his gaze, throat tight. Me too, man. More than you know. After, as dishes clattered, he pulled me aside in the mudroom, coats muffling our words. Saw Uncle Sam last week. Drove up to the site, thought I'd deck him. But he just talked about you. How you make him whole. A pause. Heavy. I get it now. Kinda. Love's a bitch. Ha! We hugged then. Awkward and fierce. Brothers reclaiming ground. Don't fuck it up, he muttered. Or I will kill you. Christmas brought Samuel home. Truck crunching snow into the driveway like bones underfoot. I met him at the door, our kiss salt-edged with tears. Stayed away too long, he growled, lifting me against the wall, urgency melting months of ache. We made the tree shake that night, lights twinkling on sweat-slick skin, his whispers of mine drowning the world's noise. But romance's glow couldn't blind the fractures. New Year's, at a bonfire with Jamie and the crew, shots flowing like confessions. Jamie cornered Samuel by the flames. You hurt him. I end you. But then, softer. Just be good to each other. For Mom's sake, Karen watched from afar, arms crossed, but her nod was grudging thaw's first drip. We danced slow to the radio's twang, Samuel's hand low on my back, world narrowing to heat and heartbeat. "This is us," he said. "No more hiding." Spring unfurled tentative. Daffodils pushing through mud. Us pushing through therapy joint sessions in Akron. Unpacking closets side by side. Samuel's demons surfaced. The Marine buddy lost to don't ask. The rig's anonymous hookups masking loneliness. Mine, the fear of abandonment. Dad's shop my cage since Mom left for sunnier shores. One session, the doc asked, "What does love look like for you?" Samuel took my hand. Steady. Like Alex's hands on an engine, fixing what's bent, making it roar. Tears pricked. I squeezed back. Home. Safe harbor in the shitstorm. But conflict brewed anew, insidious as rust. Linda resurfaced. Texts to Samuel. "We need to talk. For the family." Then calls to Karen. Poison dripping, he's unstable. That boy's a phase. Whispers reached Jamie at his new gig. Unease festering. Climax hit in May. Dogwood blooming defiant. Samuel's rig contract ended early. Layoff. Bad luck. He came home to find Linda on the porch with Karen. Suitcases in hand. "I'm taking him back," she declared. Voice syrup sweet. "For his own good." Therapy's quack. Real love fixes that. Karen wavered, eyes flicking to Samuel's clenched fists. "Lynn, he's happy." Happy? Deluded. She thrust papers. Annulment threats. Custody bids for Jamie's stability. It was bluff. Mostly her grasping at ghosts, but Samuel snapped. "Get off my porch," he roared. Voice thunder. "You don't own me." "Never did." She laughed. Cruel. "Oh, Sammy. Always the hero." But heroes fall. She left. Tires spitting gravel. But the seed lodged. Doubt in Karen's eyes. Jamie's texts turning curt. That night, Samuel paced my apartment. Whiskey bottle sweating in his grip. "She's right, Alex. I'm poison. Dragged you into the circus." "Bullshit," I snapped, yanking him close. "We're the ringmasters now." We fought then, not fists, but words, raw as flayed skin. "You deserve normal," he hurled. "Not this small-town scandal. And you deserve love. Not exile," I shouted back, chest heaving. "Stop running, Sam." "From her. From us." He stilled, eyes stormy. Then pulled me down, kiss bruising with desperation. Lovemaking turned cathartic, bodies battling fears, reclaiming territory inch by inch. Dawn found us spent, his head on my thigh. "I promised you the coast," he murmured. "Still want it. With you? Anywhere." But betrayal's shadow lengthened. Jamie called midweek. Voice wrecked. "Mom's spiraling. Blames you two for everything. Linda's feeding her crap. Saying Sam's gonna abandon us like Dad." Pause. "And Alex. She knows about the shop. Dad's hearing rumors. Clients pulling jobs. Panic spiked. Dad confronted me that afternoon. Face thunderous over the ledger. Rivera Auto's bleeding. Folks saying we cater to that element. Fix it, or I shut down. Betrayal triplefold. Linda's sabotage. Town's bigotry. My own silence. I drove to Samuel's, finding him packing, duffel half-zipped, eyes hollow. "Go time," he said flat. "Can't drag you under." "No." I blocked the door. Tears hot. We face this. Together. He searched my face, then dropped the bag, crushing me in an embrace that tasted of goodbye. God, I love you, Alex. More than Riggs. More than running. We didn't run. Instead, we rallied, Jamie mediating with Karen. A tearful summit over pot roast where truths spilled like wine. I was scared, she admitted, of losing another son too. Whatever this is. Samuel took her hand. Mom, it's love. Plain as that. Linda's bluff crumbled. Lawyer laughed her out. Dad stood firm, hanging a rainbow sticker in the shop window. All makes welcome. Clients trickled back. Town grumbled, then shrugged Ohio resilience. Summer swelled, heat wave mirroring our thaw. Picnics by the lake. Jamie grilling burgers, toasting to detours worth the wreck. Samuel and I, hands linked under the table, building not just a life, but a legacy. Sponsoring a youth group for queer kids in the county. His story the cornerstone. One evening, fireflies winking like conspirators, he knelt in the driveway, same spot I'd fixed the truck. Ring simple. Silver band etched with Semper Alex. Marry me? Make this forever. Tears blurred him. I pulled him up, kissing fierce. Yes. 1,000 times. Marriage planning in Millersburg was like herding cats on caffeine. Equal parts joy and chaos, with a side of side-eye from the locals. We opted small. Backyard affair at Jamie's. String lights draped over the old oak. Wildflowers in mason jars nodding to Samuel's roughneck roots. Dad officiated, self-ordained online. His vows a mashup of Bible quotes and shop wisdom. Love's like a transmission. Shifts when you least expect, but gets you home. Jamie stood best man, fidgeting in khakis. His speech a gut punch. Thought you stole my family, Uncle Sam. Turns out, you saved it. And Alex, you're the brother I never knew I needed. Tears flowed free. Karen dabbed her eyes with a napkin, whispering beautiful as we exchanged rings under the setting sun. Honeymoon was a road trip, Route 66 echoes, from Ohio's flats to New Mexico's red rock cathedrals. Samuel's truck, our bed on wheels, windows down to Merle Haggard and the wind's howl. We made love in arroyos, stars blanket overhead, argued over maps, laughing into reconciliations. This is it, he said one dawn, coffee steaming in the cab. You and me against the map. Back home, life settled into rhythm. Shop mornings for me. Samuel consulting on rig safety. His scars now stories for wide-eyed apprentices. Nights were ours. Dinners of my mom's era's congandals. His boot stomping to bluegrass on the porch. Intimacy deepened. Not just flesh but soul. His fingers tracing my spine like reading Braille. My head on his chest sinking breaths. But romance's rose tint faded against reality's grind. Samuel's past clawed back. Nightmares jolting him upright, sweat-soaked, murmuring apologies to ghosts. The buddy from the core, he'd confess after. Voice ash. We hooked up once, thought it was the booze. Then the bomb took him. Felt like punishment. I'd hold him through it, whispering you're here, with me, but the weight pressed. My own shadows stirred. A grinder ghost from pre-Samuel days texting miss you, deleted but lingering like oil stain. Trust frayed at edges, arguments sparked over nothing. His late calls from sites, my overtime at the shop. Climax redux hit in fall. Harvest moon fat and judgmental. Jamie announced engagement. Sweet girl from Cleveland. Elopement planned. Celebration at the Rusty Nail turned rowdy. Shots lined up, toast sloshing. But midway, Samuel's phone buzzed. Linda, drunk dialing, saw your little wedding pic online. Pathetic. He's using you, Sammy. Come home. He stepped out for air. I followed, finding him by the alley dumpster, bottle in hand, eyes glassy. She don't get it, he slurred. Never will. Neither do I. Sometimes. The words escaped. Barbed. You pull away when it gets hard. Run to the bottle. Not me. He flinched. Fire kindling. Like your mister. Open book? Hiding that app notification last month. Yeah. I saw. Betrayals echo chamber. My slip. His crutch. We shouted under neon buzz. You promised forever. Then act like it. Fists clenched. But no blows. Just raw. Ripping hurt. Jamie burst out, pulling us apart. Not here. Assholes. Not tonight. We drove home silent. Truck cab thick as thunderhead. And my door, no. Our door. He grabbed my arm. Don't walk away. Then talk. I demanded. Tears hot. All of it. The fear. The doubt. Lay it bare. We did. On the kitchen floor. Backs to cabinets. Words tumbling like spilled drawers. His confession. Terror of failing me. Like he'd failed Linda. Jamie's dad image. Mine. Abandonment scars from mom. Fearing I'd wake to empty sheets. Dawn crept in as we clung. Exhausted. Love's forge hammering us stronger. Forgive me, he whispered. Lips to my temple. Always. We made slow love on the rug. Bodies mending what tongues couldn't tender. Deliberate. Reaffirming vows unspoken. Healing rippled outward. Samuel joined a vets group in Akron. Queer Marines. Swapping war stories over coffee. Felt less alone, he said after first meet. Lighter. I came out fully at the shop holiday party. Arm around Samuel. This is my husband. Gasps. Then claps, dad's proud nod loudest. Clients stayed. Some even toasted to love that lasts. Jamie's wedding was magic. Lakeside. Sunset vows. Us in matching bow ties like proud uncles. He pulled us aside post-ceremony. You too? Inspiration. Fixed my head. Love ain't zero-sum. Karen softened full. Baking Samuel's favorite apple pie. Slipping me Mijo endearments. Linda faded to footnote, a Christmas card ignored. Winter brought quiet joys. Our first anniversary. Cabin rented in the Poconos, snowshoeing trails. Hearth fires crackling. Samuel gifted a toolbox engraved for our builds. I soft. You're my foundation, Alex. And you're my spark. We danced naked by the fire. Shadows waltzing. Bodies knowing each other's language fluently. But humanism's thread wove deeper. Community calls. We mentored a teen from the group. Kid named Riley. Outed at school. Bruises hidden under hoodies. Samuel shared his core closet. I my shop sanctuary. You're not broken, we'd say. Just building. One night, Riley called panicked, family ultimatum. We drove through sleet, fetching him to our couch. Temporary harbor till college apps flew. Jamie helped scout dorms. Karen knit blankets. Family expanded. Not by blood but choice, America's messy miracle. Spring bloomed renewal. Garden planted in the backyard. Tomatoes staking like hopes. Samuel proposed expansion. Adopt? Foster? Build a legacy, he said. dirt under nails. I grinned, pulling him close amid the weeds. With you, let's grow it all. Yet, life's drama lingered subtle. Dad's health scare, a ticker acting up, forcing shop handover talks. Samuel stepped up, sleeves rolled, learning ledgers. We're a team, he said, steady as ever. Through it, love evolved, less fireworks, more hearth glow. Mornings, coffee shared, his kiss sleepy sweet. Evenings, porch swings, hands laced, watching fireflies script our story in light. Years folded like accordions, each pleat a lesson in endurance and grace. By our 5th anniversary, the shop thrived, Rivera Hayes Auto, dual name on the sign, pride flag fluttering beside the eagle. Dad retired to Florida sun, puttering with model trains, video calls beaming his grin. Boys, you're making me proud. More than carburetors ever did. Samuel's consulting gig stabilized. He spoke at vet centers, voice steady over podiums, sharing from shadows to shorelines. Audiences, grizzled jarheads, fresh-faced enlistees nodded, tears glinting. Saved my life, one wrote later. We saved each other, daily. Riley bloomed into college firebrand, activist on campus, summer visits bursting with tales. You guys started it, he'd say, hugging fierce. Jamie's family grew too, twins arriving pink and squalling, us doting uncles with bedtime stories of grease monkeys and roughnecks finding home. But romance's embers needed stoking. Routine's creep turned sparks to glow. We reignited with weekends away, Asheville cabins, hikes ending in tangled sheets, or Cleveland's queer scene, dancing under disco balls till dawn. One night, post-dance, sweat slick in the truck. Still got it? Old man, I teased, his laugh rumbling deep. Watch it, kid, or I'll show you. Pursuit ensued. Playful chase through Millersburg's quiet streets, ending breathless on our lawn, neighbors chuckling from porches. Conflict's embers flared occasional. Samuel's rig nostalgia pulling him north for short hauls, my jealousy flaring irrational. Miss you too much, I'd confess on calls. Home's where you are, he'd reply, voice anchor. Arguments shortened, resolutions quicker, therapy's gift, communications blade honed sharp. Humanism peaked in crisis. Towns flood, spring rains swelling the river to monster roar. We sandbagged with neighbors, Amish hands beside queer shoulders, no questions asked. A family washed out, parents gone, kid orphaned. Samuel and I fostered little Eli, 6 and silent, eyes wide as saucers. Nights were vigils, his nightmares sinking hours, Samuel rocking him gentle. Uncle Sam fixes trucks, Eli whispered first month. Can he fix me? Samuel teared up. Later. Kid, you're not broken. Just flooding. We adopted by fall. Papers signed in a courthouse smelling of polish and promise. Eli's laughter filled the house. Bike rides. Shop visits. His small hands in grease. Jamie's twins adored cousin Eli. Karen baked endless cookies. Abuela now in full. Climax's shadow returned subtle. Samuel's doc visit. Routine check flagging a spot on his lung, old rig exposure. They said. Biopsy waited. Days stretching eternal. Paced. Bargaining with gods I'd half believed. Not him. Not now. He stayed calm. Hand steady on mine. Whatever comes, we face it. Built this life, won't let go easy. Results clean scar tissue, not shadow. Relief crashed like waves. We wept in the parking lot, then made love homebound. Fierce gratitude. Thank you, I gasped after, his weight grounding. For what? Staying. Fighting. Eli's adoption party doubled as celebration. Backyard bash, lanterns glowing, toasts to resilience. Jamie raised glass. To detours, that busted truck leading here. Karen hugged Samuel tight. My boys, all of you. As dusk fell, Samuel pulled me aside, under the oak where vows exchanged. 10 years from that kiss, he murmured. Worth every speechless hour. I traced his jaw, silver now full. More. The roar after. Eli toddled over, flower crown askew. Daddy's dance. We did slow sway to cricket's chorus, his head on our legs. Family complete. Years spun on. Eli's school plays, ham actor, like Jamie. Shop expansions, hiring Riley postgrad. Samuel's book deal, memoir of Riggs and redemption, dedication to Alex, my true north. Town evolved grudging, pride flags on Maine, our story local legend, the grease and the grit, paper headline quipped. Bigotry lingered, slurs scrawled on signs, but we stood taller, shoulders squared. Old age crept gentle, Samuel's knees creaking from Riggs, my back from wrenches. Rocking chairs on the porch, his hand in mine, watching sunsets bleed gold. Regrets? He asked one eve, voice gravel soft. None. I leaned in, kiss familiar as breath. You, his smile crinkled eyes. Just that I didn't find you sooner. Eli, now teen lanky, rolled eyes from the door. Gross. Dad's. Dinner. Laughter bubbled. We rose, linked, into the light. Life's end whispered distant, but our story, etched eternal in Eli's grin, Jamie's twins' mischief, the shop's hum. From a slipped wrench to this, love's engine, purring steady. Humanity's arc bent toward us. Not perfect, but profound. In America's heartland, two men proved, detours lead home, if you brave the turns. And in the quiet hours, Samuel's whisper lingered, speechless still, every day with you.